So this is the culminating session or the culminating event for the students of the Hiwatahia Taino language beginner 1 class that I taught. This is cohort 2, and they were an amazing group. It was real pleasure working with all of them, and so I'm really excited to for all of you to see their language project. So I'm going to share my screen now. Okay. So it says Miyari Kena Manawa, hello and welcome. And this is just our little flyer here. But I'm going to move on from this. So Dairile Rahi Kotea Niaku'no Ruiz León, da Taino Hebeyono do Waria Boriken, da Traha Waria Boriken, da Kevia Alu Boriken, Kena Lenape Hoking NYC. So my name is Rahi Kotea Niaku'no Ruiz León. My Taino ancestors are from the island of Boriken, also known by its colonial name, Puerto Rico. I'm from Boriken, and I currently live moving between the island of Boriken and also living part-time in NYC, in Lenape Hoking, NYC. I am an artist and an educator. I am a member of the Hiwatahia Taino language team, and I'm a member of the Higuayawa organization, which started the Hiwatahia language initiative. So a little bit about that for those of you that are new to that are like wondering what that is. So what is Hiwatahia Taino? Tuele Hiwatahia Taino. I'm just going to read from my screen here. So Hiwatahia Hekeshi Taino Arawak is a Taino language reconstruction revitalization initiative started by Higuayawa Taino of the Caribbean. Like many other indigenous language reconstruction efforts, we began by merging recorded Taino words with words from the closest Da, Maipuri, and Arawak languages such as Lokono, Waju, Paraujano, Baniwa, Dariana, Wapishana, and Garifuna. Since Taino is part of the Arawak language family, these languages have the closest cognate to Taino dialects. The language was founded by Cacique Jorge Baracutay Esteves with the assistance of Tucuda Jesse Hurani Marrero, who was an educator for many years. Hiwatahia, there's a little spelling mistake there. The Hiwatahia language team was advised by Arawak linguists such as Alexandra Eichenwald, Conrad Ripka, and others. In addition, we collaborated with native Arawak speakers. The effort actually began, I should say, some 35 years ago when Cacique Baracutay began collecting Taino words from across the Caribbean. With the help of our language teams and watchful eye of Jesse Hurani, we were able to publish the work and begin teaching classes to our people. This is how Hiwatahia was born. Hiwatahia is the beginning of a new language for the descendants of the Taino people. This language is the beginning, and as our people continue to use it, it will continue to grow, and we've been seeing that. We've been seeing that progression. So with that said, I also wanted to mention one more thing. If you see this this writing system here, I wanted to mention what that is, because I realize many people might not know. So that's the Nahuatl Taino writing system, which came out of an initiative by Dr. Yare Melendez, also from Boriken. And she was an educator, and she worked closely with a few schools on the island, and her students were creating this writing system with each other, and so then it became like a thing. And so I think it's really important for us to use it and continue breathing life into it. So you'll see that throughout all the slides. Okay, so we'll start now with the presentations. Our first presenter is Kyla, so I'll let her introduce herself and read her introduction.
Arikomabura, da irile Kaila, kena da traja aba ikudahialo. Da taino hebeyono do waria borinquen, da traja waria Hoboken, New Jersey, da kebia alu Los Angeles, also known as Gabrielino Tongvaland. I just want to say thank you first and foremost, Arikomabu, to Ra for creating this safe, beautiful, sacred space, and for the community that we've been in for these past few weeks. It has felt very nourishing and very healing. I think a very big part of decolonizing our minds and reclaiming our truth and our culture stems from feeling safe and forgiving ourselves for internalized colonization, which manifests very much so through language. So I feel so grateful to be here. I am a poet, Ikudahialo, and I have written a poem for my final project, and I'm going to speak it in 3 languages, starting from the first, starting from Taino. I'm going to trace the language from the evolution of how we evolved. And with this work and this dedication and this space that Ra has created, I am committed to someday being as fluent in my original language as I am in the colonizer's language. So we're gonna go on a journey.
Kyla, I'm gonna pull up your poem so that we can read along with you if that's okay. So I'm just gonna stop share here while Kyla gets ready, and I'm gonna find her piece so that we can all see it. Is this okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Coqui, arralo, panuelo. Da oaka kakaya aluda adebeyu. Kayunke aluda eibuno. Arabuco, bejucono via ejiperano. Abuaniki tosamuka madan amasiba. Via apagadakaba wiwano. Wo karadaiki haruti sibaroko. Da akuapiki, da akuapaki, da dai abu ahiareino. Abakoki ma omakudi tabon, abuture ma omakudi ta awarano. Kiaki daluku, abutawa aruti kenakatikua. Wo banueaki, biaka ahianiwa a akiribuda bohio. Houna wo anawa wakia koki aralo a ahia taino. Kahebeyono are a sutokoro, wawo do ua amiua. Rezo de la corona del coquí. Yo llevo la isla en mi vientre, el yunque en mis huesos, enredaderas del bosque para los dedos, un corazón que nunca podrá ser de piedra. Durante 500 años, digerimos azúcar blanca. Moldé mi lengua para formar tus palabras, un coquí sin su río, un cielo sin sus pájaros. Sin embargo, mi gente sigue siendo suave y resistente. Oramos para que el idioma volviera a casa. Cuando usamos nuestras coronas de coquí para hablar taíno, los antepasados cantan para recordarnos que nunca estamos solos. Coquí Crown Prayer by Kaila Tukaya Garcia. Even my 3 names have each of the languages in them. I carry the island in my belly, el yunque in my bones, forest vines for fingers, a heart that will not be stone. For 500 years, we digested white sugar. I shaped my tongue to form your words. A coquí without her river, a sky without her birds. Yet my people remain soft and resilient. We prayed for the language to come home. When we wear our coqui crowns to speak Taino, the ancestors sing to remind us we're never alone. Thank you. Gracias. Aricomabu.
Arikumabu to you, Kyla. Thank you so much for that amazing piece. I forgot to mention in the beginning that at the end, the guests will have a chance to ask any questions of the participants about their projects or about their experience in the class. So if you have any questions for Kyla about her piece, you have a chance at the end to ask that. Is there anything else that you'd like to say, Kyla, before I move on to the next person?
I just want to say I want to encourage my fellow Taino siblings to keep being gentle with ourselves as we learn and we navigate language and we reclaim our power and the true poetry of our bloodlines, to keep being gentle with ourselves. And that every day, even when we just speak one word, we're making the ancestors proud. So I feel grateful to be a part of this circle. Thank you for listening. Thank you for spending your life minutes and your heart with me.
Thank you, Kyla. Hahon Marikomavu. We're gonna now go to Imani. So I'm gonna share my screen again so that actually no, not to Imani. Sorry, that was my bad. It's to Mel and then Imani. So I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay. Dairile Mel Kusa Melissa. Da Taino Hebeyono Do Waria Boriken. Da Traha Waria Connecticut, Augusta. Da Kebia Alu Ketagalan, Taipei, Taiwan. So my name is Mel or Melissa, and I'm from, my Taino ancestors are from Boriken. I grew up in Connecticut, and I live in Taipei, Taiwan, although I'm on the islands, Boriken now. Okay, so the print is a little bit small here, so I'm not sure. Oh yeah, maybe I can read that. So basically this is my website. I am a decolonized therapy practitioner, creator, guide, and educator. And my idea with this project was to introduce people to the Hiwatahia Taino language through my offerings. So I started with this page, which is my introduction. And my hope is that I'll be able to translate or offer the website in both languages, English and Hiwatahia. Okay, so I'm gonna read it and you can follow along with the English version. Maybe I'll read it afterwards as well, but I'll start with the Hiwatahia version. Okay. Datraha talata bu amari ki turayaha da ekinine wo abiha aba budan a hekadera uwara aneya me toho le aba naiko shokoto dama daka. And actually I'll just translate that. So that says, I'm glad you made it here. I hope we get a chance to explore together. So this, again, this is my introduction on my website. Until then, this is a little bit about me. So Datraha Aba Boricua Alika Awarimo Aki Hai Oka La Hiwehi Wayetan Turtle Island. Datraha Aba Gorara Oka Asauka Wa I Aki Ketagalan Mona Badia Aitanki Ke Ka Anakonwa Se Ba Inkayeketan Abiara Dan Taipei, Taiwan. So I'm a Boricua with indigenous lineage who grew up on the east coast of Turtle Island, USA. And I'm a guest on unceded Ketagalan land, also known as the beautiful concrete jungle of Taipei, Taiwan, which is in Asia. Da Dadria hahomse bia tokowa tantka atuhawa no dosa antira ki da atoho naikodan da kaodi ki alu ekenu ni tekesera tekiraha ki alu so warai ki dinawa as Asia Bia ayaduku aba wiwa adi akidahawa ki halika akebia omaka mona oka aba konuku ayakati akiho alu ka ikuno kena bien asawa dawiwa no alu akalihani adawa aba hekeshi Abiasao. So that says, I'm filled with gratitude for all of the adventures that brought me to this moment, which is true. I'm filled with gratitude for this moment as well. And then a little bit about me. I've worked in fashion in New York City. I taught in Seoul, South Korea, and I trekked through Asia for over a year with just a backpack. And I learned how to live with the land on a farm tucked away in the valleys of Northern California, and even put my years up at a startup in Taipei. And the last bit here says, Naha atuhawa no ukuru aki da alu atolani aba uatiraki witu tan maluaba tanka bali awahaya as aba olaboa tan asaukawa I aki ehebu anubahuti tekina gena anharaki hakomi gele aria duma hua. And then it's just my name at the end. So that says that these experiences rooted me in weaving a collective thread of radical exploration as a decolonized guide, creator, educator, and certified Hakomi practitioner. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Thank you for allowing me to share that with you. And yeah, I'm just grateful to be in the space. I'm grateful for this little community, this virtual community that we have, and for Ra for holding this space and offering this, beautiful exchange that we're able to have to learn about our culture and our ancestors. So, Ariko Mabu.
Mabu, Mel, thank you so much. Gracias.
Yes.
I'm gonna now move on to Imani, and actually I'm gonna read Imani's intro because Imani lost her voice, and so I'm gonna read her intro. So it says, Dairile Imani, da Taino Hebeyono do Waria Ayiti, da Traha Waria Pequannock Mona. So that just says, I am from Pequannock land, which is in Connecticut, which is where she's from. And then it says, Da Kevia Alu Pequannock Mona. So I live in Connecticut. So Imani did a piece, and she was helped by her brother Castro, who did the audio again because Imani had lost her voice, and he did an amazing job. So thank you, Castro, for stepping up short notice. And so I'm gonna show that piece, and Imani's piece is in English, in Hiwatahia, and in Creole. So I'm gonna play it. If there are any sound issues, just somebody let me know. But it should be good. I tested it before. Let me just turn up the volume, make sure it's good. Okay. And actually, wait, I forgot to read Imani's introduction that she asked me to read for her video. I have it here on my phone. So it says Introduction to the Call, which is the title of her piece. Point of view poems from people on the island at different time periods, starting from 1492 when Christopher Columbus arrived, from when slaves rebelled in 1804, and the POV, or point of view, of the modern day Haitian diaspora. The sound of the conch shell call, has united us all generationally over the centuries. So the languages reflect the change and evolution of Haiti, but the conch represents the unity through different time periods. So that was a little bit about what this piece is about. Okay, so I'm going to play it now.
Haiti, land of high mountains. Her fog cloaks over her jagged edges. Her waves guide our routes. Her beaches have lured and captivated our imagination. Her fields have fed nations, and her mountains have seen unspeakable injustices. Since the beginning, Haiti nourished us. Her children will always return, lifetime after lifetime. Alikadobu. Ka heketi arike amutu ana loku. Makuri no. Tue anika na ya uwama. Wakaona kena atura wa ita. Tue anika wo uwama. Hakai kena boyo. Womuka hinama biawa wawahine anava ka waniaho no waniano awara naya damuka ahihirawa ama aredoma oma atuma womuka hinama bia Haiti. Haiti aturatanti wihono. Taraudai analano ayaduku ta kamana wae. Ta bawanano ehibu wa umano. Ta beabuno ewa antirayuka kena anuka no wa korokaya kuasau. Qui est souillé? Combien de temps t'es temps? Pour 300 années. Qui ça y ouvre? Sick, café, digo. Qui ça nous ouvre? Libération! Nous prions à bon Dieu à ancêtres nous. C'est yo seul qui a protégé nous. Mon Dieu, c'est sécurité. Nous t'es capturés. Ça, c'est le son de révolution. Liberté sonne dans tout le monde. Nous prenons bataille pour Haïti. Et nous libéré une fois pour toute éternité. C'est Haïti qui te baille manger pour un pile nation. Et puis mon te ouais injustice très mauvaise. Family left Haiti with the dream of always coming back. Millions of us have gone up to the sky. The last glimpse of Haiti is the plane they fly. looking down at our beauty until it disappears in the clouds, only to land in nations that reject us. I stand here in a distant land longing for unification of our people, but the sound of the call awakens distant ancestral memories. It revives a homesickness for a place I was never born in. Our hope to return is washed away by politics, by borders, by Mother Nature herself. Our pleas for help, our prayers, our screams turn into whispers in the wind. But I know, even in the darkest times, they are blown to her. She can still hear us. She still waits for our return. Since the beginning, Haiti has nourished us. Her children will always return, lifetime after lifetime.
Awesome. That was a piece by Imani with the help of her brother Castro. I know Imani is still getting her voice back, but let us know if you want to say anything, and if not, you can message me and I'll say whatever. I'll relay the message. But what we're gonna do now is move to the next person. Sorry, Imani. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I don't want to scare anyone. Sorry. I want to say thank you to everyone that I was in class with. And thank you, Ra, for having such a open space for me to be creative. And also I want to thank all my family and friends that are here. I'm so happy that you're here to witness this. Because this class is truly incredible. And thank you.
Thank you, Imani. That was amazing. Thank you for being part of the class. I'm gonna move on to the following person, and just as a reminder for the guests, if you stay to the end, you'll be able to ask questions of all the participants about their projects or about their experience. So our next person is Gray. So I'll let Jacely pin or spotlight you. Sorry.
Arikomabu, Daire Gre, Taino Haviano do Varia Boriken, Datraha Varia, New York, Caiba Loop, Somerset, California, also known as Eon My Walkland. I am Gray Lutz. My Taino ancestors are from Borinquen. I am from New York, and I live in Somerset, California, Eon My Walkland. Thank you, everyone at Akomabu. During, I'm sure many of you know Irka, and have been to her ceremonies. During the New Year's Circle, during the journey portion, when I was speaking with the ancestors, the message that they gave me for this year was ponerlos juntos, put them together, put things together. And in relation to my artwork and the things that I had been working on, I had been so invested in our culture and using it in our art and imagery. And this year I've really been focusing on ways to unify all the designs and kind of make more complete pieces. So with their guidance, I started working on a series of linoleum block prints. This is just a little why that's up there. These are a bunch of the patterns that I've been developing this year. And then this class gave me the opportunity to put a piece together that incorporated the Hiwati'ia language into the composition. I think the language itself and seeing our text and being able to read it and see it actually printed is very powerful. Just as a culture, seeing our language in use is a powerful use. So with this print, this is a 3-layer print that I created. It's actually made of 7 individual block prints. The frame itself, I actually have the block here. These are Taino birds, the circle with the beak that create the frame. And then the individual birds that are inside of the frame are animal figures that are directly inspired by the pictoglyphs from the Caguana ceremonial ball court in Utado. If you haven't been, please try to go as soon as you can. It's a beautiful site, and they had all these monoliths with Taino imagery, which I then incorporated, and then the last layer, I made a print. The text reads, Woduka abieno, wataya abieno kona waki. We are the seeds our ancestors planted. As Tainos, we really believe that our ancestors are part of everything that we do. They're our guides. They help us through our entire lives. And if we reach out, we can feel them and feel their energy. And it's an honor to be able to connect with them while making art and being able to then share that with the community. I think this language class and this opportunity for us to all connect with our language, it's the seed that we are planting for our future generations of Tainos. And it's a beautiful start. And I really wanted to say Erekomabu, Takina to Ra, and Erekomabu, Kariri Bano. Thank you, friends, for everyone who have been learning with me. It's been an incredible journey, and I really appreciate all of you.
Thank you, Arikomabu, Hahon, gracias, Ray, Gray, for sharing this piece. It's a beautiful piece. I'm gonna move on. And actually, Gray, my question was, is this something that people can like get from you if they want to like purchase it from you and support your work?
Erekomabu, I do sell the prints, and I just put it on my website. If it's okay, I can drop it into the chat.
Yeah, please. I'm sure people would want to check that out. Thank you so much. I'm gonna move on to the next participant, the next presenter, that is Ana.
Tairi Leana, Ana Teresa, da Taino Hebeyo no doaria boriken kena Haiti, da traja waria piscatawa mona, Washington, D.C., and da kebia alu paswayaki mona, Tucson, Arizona, specifically Tohono O'odham land. And that just says, I'm Ana Teresa. My Taino ancestors are from Boriken and Haiti. I was born in Washington, D.C., Piscataway Mona land, and I live in Pascuayaki Mona, Tucson, Arizona, but actually more accurately, the Tohono O'odham land. And I ended up writing a poem, and I am the old lady of the group. I have special thanks for Kyla and for Ra for helping me with the words that I was missing. I was one of the people that did not get their dictionary in time. So every time after class, I would bring the words that I had and I would think about the concepts, and I added stuff every week according to our vocabulary until the very end where Kyla and Ra helped me. And this is a topic that just came up late. So I'm gonna go ahead and read it. I'm gonna actually translate the beginning of it, which is Awanakasau a Areito, invitation to Areito. Alu Necacoro tan corrado collazo, Jose Ignacio Choca, Cana Liz Ramos, Taino the Angshihiki, Wasiwaki a AIDS. And the Kayawai, the numbers refer to the National AIDS quilt panels. This is in memory of Conrado Collazo, Jose Choca, and Liz Ramos, Taino who I loved, who were lost to AIDS. Manitide Akuabe Niaku'no, Conrado Kena Jose Kena Liz, Haina Dayeno Te Toka, Uwawatani, Haina Hebeyono Angshihini, Naya Oma Sasurano, Kena Yuka. Arikaino e katue mayara ayaki. Dayeno tokodo aquí anai, Español, English, AIDS.
Sorry to interrupt you, Anna. Do you want me to move on to the, after you finish reading?
Yeah,
the
because
Hiwate, move on to-
I'm not going to be translating it because people can read along
Okay,
to be
so,
respectful of time.
okay. Here's the following slide.
Arikomapu. Ukaidan da waranaya a da nekakoro. Conrado tan kamaba a hiarena no. Jose tan kakalatani himata uhabo no. Liz lan baidan hadoya angshihi. Ukaidan da akshika naya da daye. Wo abakama anaya are. Conrado aburota lo tan anaconwa. Angshihilo tan dayuridawaki away. Bu ahiareno do wasiwaki aluka dan upura kawayala ubanao. Walari aruti uhabo no aruti. Ahiareno aruti. Ahuiki taina manitiaki anai aids. Kabun honi lanboriken lima yale aki. Taya waria boriken. Sari aba kataida lan ekekaro. Tan ahiru au. Kenabuiri. Bu akiribu tanaho. Manawa atiao. Yara leua e yawa. Akaiso warika a ibakuaiba. Jose tinaveda ki behike tan kakamunai. Wo warikaaki malu uwara. Wawati ni a hekekshi angshihi. Waria atunkowara a disco daike. Ahuiki taina maniti aki anai aids. Tabaunhoni lan Cuba lima yale aki. Daya waria Cuba. Sari aba kataida lan ekekaru tan ahiruau kenabuiri. Bu akiriba tanaho. Manawa aitiao. Yaraleua e yawe akaisa wariko a aibakoaiba. Liz akshihirawa lo bo bia atuma. Aitaki kadan oma tanbian irahuno. Kubai omakadi kenahukon. Itu yoho lanuasabaru ni kenahaika. Ahuiki taina manitiaki aina aids. Tabunhoni lan boriken diamayale aki. Taya wari boriken. Sari abakataida lan ekekaru tan ahiru au kenabuiri. U akiribu tanaho. Manawa itu. Yara leua e yawe. Akaisa warikoa ibakuaiba. Ukaidan da aburota abareja lansiwi kenabawa. Ukaidan da kalata waiwa wariatanodan akanayawai. Ukaidan da hadoya wakatikua kenahikihie irahuno. Idia caceria. Idia kalakanae. Idia angshihini. Ahaira daitanaho wariada ka AIDS quilt. Kena binaka alu wareito. Wa behayu dan ebuno o. Letanaho kena tomako ababoyo taino. Kena aba. Konukona lan tukuyano amuwadini awaya hadoya kati. Arikoma bu, especially Tekina Ra and the rest of the family that helped make this a very special and safe place for an old queer Taina. Arikoma bu.
Arikumabu to you, Ana. Thank you so much for what you bring to the group, your wisdom, your experience, and all the beautiful things that you taught us and that you talked about. We really appreciate it. So thank you. Thank you for this amazing piece. And at the end, if anyone has any questions about Ana's poem, you will have a chance to ask her. Okay, the next participant is Ermin. So I'll ask, oh, she put the spotlight, okay.
Miari, everybody. Hi, everyone. Da irile Ermin, da Taino Hebeyono, da Waria Boriken, da Trahawaria Lenape Hoking, New York, and also Shinnecock territory, way out on the island. Da Kebia Alu, Philadelphia, Kena, Vancouver, and Lund. I'm gonna put the nation names. Lund is a small town I spend lots of time in on Tla'amin territory, and Vancouver is Musqueam territory. And yes, I'm also filled with gratitude and happiness to be here, to be part of this class, and to see all the final projects. My project, I went a little silly. I wanted to be a little whimsical and silly. I think that all of the seriousness and the importance that we have in language work and the levity and the severity that we give it is like good and important. But I also think that language work needs room for like us to just kind of have fun and do maybe not silly, but just other things that kind of like add the language to our lives. And so I was going to do something with food and language, which is kind of my area of research, but I also really like exercising and working out. So instead I decided to make a workout video in Taino, and it's 5 minutes long. So already I'm sorry, and thank you for bearing with me to watch it. Thanks, Ra.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna play it now, and then if there are any sound issues, let me know.
Eirbawa o madaka. Anika buwama a abiha katikua? Abiha katikua alu Taino. Heketi, ikaraku wo kauri wa atunano. Wo muka anika aba korokotola sao dirokola. Heketi wo muka kauri wa hiroma wabu. Bokoto aban ahuse alu bu hiroma uhabo. Koro basi toa oka bu suroma kodoro. Asawa ka wahana tan bu hiroma atuna abuduku bu hiroma dabuko. Didokola bu atuna bia kabadaka itadano. Usa. Tanaho wo muka kauri wa suroma wabu. Kora basi toa oka bu suroma kodoro. Asawa ka ahuse alubu suroma uhabo. Asawa ka wahana tanbu suroma atuna abuduku bu suroma dabuko. Didokola bu atuna bia kabadaka itadano. Tanaho hinama hai. Anudaha hai bia mawa ahuseno. Wo muka anika aba ayaduku kai simu ahuta. Bokoto ka ahuseno alu kanabo tan bu dunaina no. Ahuta kena haura bu atuano ayaduku bu kai simu. Kiabanika bia yamidaka itadano. Usa. Tanaho eora dai a kauri bu alibeo. Heketi wo muka alika aba makai ushi. Eora dai oma bu atunano kena atuno alu babako idahu. Sabaho bu siroma atuna keno bu hiroma atu. Mei ainarawa bu hiroma atuna kena suroma atu. Kiabanika bia aban pirudan. Usa. Tanaho wo muka anika aba tukuya kuribisa. Eora dai oma bu atunano kena atuno saba. Tanaho sabaho bu siroma atu kena tamura bu hiroma atu. Akuna bu hiroma atuna oma bu siroma atu. Kibanika bia yamidaka itadano. Tanaho sabaho bu hiroma atu kena tamura bu siroma atu. Bu hiroma atu. Akuna bu siroma atuna oma bu hiroma atu. Kibanika bia yamidaka itadano. Usa. Tanaho ikirakuno anika aba ishi bokoto. Bokoto bu atuno kena atunano. Yoka da dareke. Bokoto bia yamidaka itadano. Usa. Mei ikirakuno kauri wa atuno. Oma teretuano. Ikirakuno anika sirakwa teretuano. Hinama hai kena asawa bu hiroma atu ayabo bu. Tamura bu siramo kororo oluko aba teretuano. Kibanika bia yamidaka itadano. Tanaho asawa bu siroma ata ayabo bu. Tamura bu hiroma kodoro oluko aba teretuano. Kibanika bia yamidaka itadano. Usa. Tanaho ikirakuno anika baira teretuano. Hinama oma bu ukudino uwara. Teretua bia yamidaka itadano. Usa. Bia aba ba eribawa kibanika aburatoma yamidano. Anika bu adira katikua? Usa.
Also, for the record, it is not posted publicly on TikTok. I would never do that. It's so embarrassing. I posted it privately. And also, I feel like I'm anticipating this question. I am going to add subtitles to this video at a later date, but it was very difficult to do that in TikTok, so I did not.
Thank you so much, Arikomabu. Gracias, Ermin. I think we're gonna start Hiwatahia workout group, and Ermin's gonna lead that.
I'd be so happy to do that.
Yeah, and I would join real fast.
Oh yeah.
I love working out, so I was really excited when Ermin proposed this idea of a workout video in Hiwatahia. I was like, yes, do it. So thank you so much for making it a reality. And I totally agree with you about using the language in many different ways and having fun with it and being silly. And yeah, and I think that's how we continue to bring it into different areas and aspects of our lives, right? So thank you so much, Ermin. And is there anything you'd like else that you want to add before I move on?
Yeah, just also like in that same vein, it was really fun to kind of find words that I could take liberties with. Like for like the overhead press, I used the word push instead of press. But then there were some words like star crunch, like we have a word for crunch and star. So it was really cool just to see how some different words that I didn't think would be used that way, or yeah, just figuring it out was really fun and interesting, and seeing the language in different ways.
Yeah, it challenges us to be creative, right? To get creative with these things. So yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Arikomabu. And now we have Tatiani. I'll wait for, oh, there's Tatiani.
Miyari, da iri le Tatiani Bawa, da Taino Hebeyono do Waria Boriken, da Traja Waria California, Kene Connecticut, da Kebia Alu Lenapahoking, Brooklyn. My name is Tatiani Bawa. Also, it's Tatiani Ocean. da Taino, my Taino ancestors are from Boriquen, and I'm from California and Connecticut, and I am living in Lenapehoking, in so-called Brooklyn, New York.
So Tatiani has also a sort of a prayer poem prepared for us. So I'm gonna just stop share here and look for that. And maybe in the meantime, if you want to introduce it, Tatiani, I'm just gonna look for your piece.
Sure. I'm gonna pull up my introduction because it's in there. So I'm gonna see if I can get us started. Okay, so the following is a version of a prayer that I ritually say in my astrology practice before I interpret someone's chart for them or before I write about the astrological weather. I have placed our siblings in parentheses where I would speak the consultee's name if it were a one-on-one consultation. The left side is going to be Hiwatahia, the Hiwatahia translation. And the right side is going to be, can you move to the next slide, perchance?
Yes. Is this
Thank-
one
yes.
okay?
Yes, perfect. This is what I'm reading from. So the left side is going to be the Hiwatahia translation, and the right side is going to be in English. I'm not going to read the English part, so if you want the translation, you can read along. I have used Spanish names for the planets that do not yet have Hiwatahia names for flow. There are a couple of words that did not exist in Hiwatahia that I have translated using Hiwatahia words and affixes that do exist. So for zodiac, I came up with Warara Watea Tan Muruluno, circle of animals, which is the origin of the word zodiac in Greek and feels really good for our people. And for astrologer, I went with Ture Tekilo, which translates to celestial studier. This is more nuanced as astrologer breaks down to star studier. I chose Turewa celestial instead of Tukaya star because I feel it flows better and is more encompassing of the sky relatives astrologers work with today. Datraha ibekaba tan hutuma hu, da kuasai hebayono semi, kena shokuya itaino, ke da eherawa wa atayuno ukaidan. Hahom biabu ehibuhu, tan daka daye aniki, kena koroko, omaka semikuao tan Venus, ka kekiwa nei tan Jupiter, ka ahiare adahi tan Mercurie, ka bikirani inamaya sao tan Kati, ka hawaba umayaro sao tan Wehi, ka awuni kira sao tan Marte, kena ka akira Rama tan Saturno. Tosa alani wano dinawa taka kei aba ture tekilo kairiwani shokuya e adahi. Da traha hahomse via ka abawa dura wasao, tan tokoa tosa lakena tokoa bodo. Ainka wa atayuno le ahanaki alu toho abawa dura wakiao. Bokoto aki anai ka anshihi tan ka warara watea tan muruluno. Ainka wo kuhawa hanai o wo alu wakia ba karie buru kui itaino. Kena ainka inaya avira anibie ariki wa ha alu ka yarube naya kansihi. Ka yarube tosa antirano Are dawa ni kena e hibuhu ukairan. Hari komabu, shokuya no, semi, hebeyono, kena itaino, biaka okolo tan bu adahi, abaha okolo datraha hahomse, akaidiwa oma wa ataino, wa atayuno ukairan.
I stopped share there. Is that okay, Tatiani?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Thank you so much, Tatiani. Arikamabu. Gracias. Is there anything else you want to add to that? Or maybe about like your services of how people can like, you know, I know a lot of folks in our community are interested in astrology. So maybe folks want to learn with you.
Yeah, I just want to say Arikomabu Ra for your teaching. It's been such a beautiful space to learn, so welcoming, and you have such an amazing teaching style that really got a lot in there, like a lot more than I thought I was capable of in a few months. So thank you so much, and thank you to our classmates who have been such a wonderful group of people to get to know over the last few months, and I hope we get to continue together. Yeah, so as far as my astrology practice, I've been practicing professionally for about 1.5 years now, and I consult with folks on their charts, and if you're interested, I can drop my website in the chat if that's okay. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer. It was such a
Wonderful.
fun project to do. I was like, it was awesome. I loved it.
Thank you for bringing that to life. I know that, you know, in the beginning you were trying to figure out how to come up with certain words. And I think that you're doing that. And that's really awesome because I know a lot of people are going to connect with that. I already see Kuya like shaking their head like, yes. So I think both of you should connect about that because I think that that would be awesome. So now we can, if any of you as the audience members have any questions for the participants, you can either put it in the chat, or if you want to ask it yourself, you can just like kind of raise your hand and unmute yourself and let us yeah, we'll mute you if we need to. So I'll give you a minute to think about anything that you might want to say, comment, or maybe ask any of the participants. And I have a question, so I'll buy you all some time. My question for all of the participants is like, how have you been able to incorporate the language in your daily life? And I think your projects are already like a reflection of that, but what other ways have you been able to incorporate little pieces of what you've learned so far into your daily lives? Anyone who wants to answer that?
I just feel like I use Taino, now that I know Taino words, I use Taino words where I would have otherwise used an English or a Spanish word. And I talk to my cat a lot. So I've been talking to him in Taino a lot as well. Like I'll tell him things in Taino, like you killed a snake today, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like horrified, but it's fun that I can say that to him,
Yeah.
you know? Like yeah, even to people who I know who don't speak it, I'm able to use the words now. So I think even if I'm thinking in Taino, like it's just great that I have, like Tatiana was saying, I didn't realize I was going to be able to learn so much of the language in such a short period of time. And I just have the ability to like think and exist in Taino now, which is really cool for myself, even though I don't have many people who I can speak out loud the language with.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people start with their pets. We certainly did. We started talking to our dog in Taino, and we certainly will scold her in Taino, and like, I get it. Yeah. Anyone else?
I think it's also been really amazing to learn our introductions because, especially in Indigenous spaces, so many different tribal communities, they speak their language and they always start with introducing themselves in their language. And I've always thought that was such a sacred way to ground and connect in a space, and didn't have the language to do that. And now that we can do that, I remember being here for the first class's presentation and just sitting here like in awe, like they can introduce themselves. Like that's all I wanted to do. Just that felt amazing. And now to keep having these building blocks and create our own, just to be able to translate what we're thinking with these building blocks is so sacred, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I totally agree. Thank you.
I want to say that I was absolutely shocked when the first time that you find yourself thinking in a language that you didn't think you had the tools to be able to think in. You can see that actually in the progression of the verses in my poem, that when we were doing nature by the last part, which is why I got to say stuff about bones and so, since I don't have the dictionary, it's literally what were we working on that week as it moves forward. I also talk to my cat a lot, which is interesting because she's deaf. So I think maybe that's a way that she comes pre-prepared to respond appropriately to a language that nobody else speaks around here.
I mean, it's not like my cat can understand English or Spanish or Taino, so it doesn't matter that he's not deaf. Like, it's not like he can understand me anyway.
Oh, my dog can fully understand everything that I'm saying to him. I'm convinced.
Maybe my cat does and just pretends he can't. That's actually seems more logical now that I say it.
That's a very typical cat thing. Yes, I would agree. Yeah, Anna, I want to say that I thought that was really cool that you were as the class was progressing, you were incorporating like the exact material of that week and incorporating into as you were building your piece. And I think that that's also such a great way to have the language and the material start sinking in, because you're learning it and then you're like using it. And you're spending time with it on your own time, working with it, right? Fleshing out this creative idea. So I thought that was really cool. If anyone has any questions for the present.
I don't have a question, but I want just responding to what you said.
Yeah.
I'm definitely very inspired by everyone's presentations. It's really incredible to see how people are implementing what we're learning in their own ways. That's cool because it feels like the language will continue to grow in many different like branches. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what that looks like for our culture and to continue sharing that with the people I meet across the world, my family, who isn't as connected with our Indigenous roots, the older generations. Yeah, I feel proud of our culture and this language and this space. And I feel like that's like emanating, through the screen and to all our people. So I'm excited. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, it feels big, even though we were a small group.
For sure. Yes.
What we were doing felt big.
Yeah.
And it is big, like, yeah, even if a class just has 2 people, right? If those people are passionate and committed and are, taking this in and then bringing something out really beautiful into the world, like makes such a big difference. So everything that you are all doing is making a big difference, and it's gonna make a big difference. And I agree with that feeling, Mel, of like that I'm excited too about what that's gonna look like for our culture, what that's looking like now, and also what that's gonna look like in the future. Because I think that you are all taking it, you're taking the language and then you're taking it a step further. And I know you're gonna continue. So I think that's very exciting. Before I go to Guya's question, does anyone else want to share or answer my question before I move on? Tatiani?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I think my favorite part of it is connecting with others in our community and being able to use it with others in the community that that might be learning at the same time or may have learned, you know, in the last cohort or haven't started learning at all, but there are like words that everyone can kind of pick up on at certain points. So I really love that, using it in that way and with our siblings.
Anybody else wanted to say anything before I move on to Imani? Go ahead, yeah. Before I move on to Kuya.
I put it in the, sorry guys, but I put it in the chat box that I like listening to songs and the language. And it makes me feel like I unlocked like a code. And that's how I like to approach learning languages. And I don't know, it feels like, you know, when you're watching a movie and then like, I don't know, like the hieroglyphics like glow in like a different color, and you're just like, you know, the main character is like, oh my God, I understand it, or like I can read that. Like that's how I feel learning in this class. And one thing I am interested in, I don't know if there is a class for this, but actually learning how to read the hieroglyphics of like, if I'd love to learn how to do that. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really cool, and I think that that's in the works. At least for me, that's something that I'm working on, is like how to interpretations. And I know that a lot of like archaeologists and other folks have been doing that kind of work on how to interpret. And there's a lot of different already interpretations of like, what do these hieroglyphs or petroglyphs, what do they mean? And I think it's a, you know, we might never really know, right? But we can sort of get close to it, and then sort of also interpret it with our own eyes and in our own context, and give it meaning in that way. What does it mean to us now? And I think that's a gift, right? It's a gift like that our ancestors, you know, when ancestors leave, when we leave something for Genesis, they're not necessarily see it from our eyes, but it's still something we're leaving, right? So thank you for bringing that up, Imani. But that's in the works. That's definitely something I talk about in my Taino. I do like these introductions to Taino culture and history, like presentations for like universities and schools like that, and I touch a little bit on that topic. So yeah. Kuya, I see that your hand raised. So do you is there a question or a comment you want to share?
Sorry, I didn't know where my mic was, so mute myself. Arigato to everyone. That was powerful and beautiful. And just like Ra was saying in the beginning, before everyone presented, that, you know, the more that we do this, the more, you know, we're making it alive. That's my words, not yours. But I know you went on that as far as that to say that I did not expect to have the impact that it did today. I think everybody did beautifully, and everybody unlocked something, as Imani was saying, some type of code memory in me. And even like memories from childhood and being down on the island for me, especially Imani's, all that visual memory. And so I have to say, being a Tzgeya, I have to, you know, say that you guys should all really should pat yourselves on the back. I know that for me, at least in the beginning, learning here with Tahia, I couldn't really digest it. But then you start feeling like the spirit of the ancestors. As Gray was talking about that, he gave me goosebumps. And then memories. For me, I like, you know, everything's like really like, I tend to learn from all of my senses. So I think this was very stimulating and just very beautiful. I just want to say.
Thank you, Arikamabu. I see in the chat somebody asked, how long have you presenters been studying the language? And I see that Ermin answered it 13 weeks. So that's correct. We were this beginner class was 13 weeks long. Yeah. Iman, is that your hand raising? No. I thought you were like raising it like slowly. So before we wrap up, we have another like minute if anybody wants to make any comments or questions. Kuya, is that?
Can I
was that-
slip in again? I did
Yeah.
have a question. I totally forgot. The question was for Mel, and forgive me, but I have trouble processing my cognitive abilities off. And when you were doing your bio, you spoke about your services and what I think it was is it a body type of service, like a healing service? I couldn't get that. And I feel like it was something Asian from where you lived there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks for asking. It does sound a little Japanese. The name is Hakomi, but it's actually a Hopi word that means where do you stand in relation to your many selves. And it's a type of psychotherapy that focuses more on awareness, consciousness, and is body focused or body centered. So yeah, I think I put my site, and then I can put Hakomi, the website, on there also. I think that's it. Yeah, it started in the 70s, around that time where there were a lot of movements like somatic experiencing, Feldenkrais, so different types of body focused therapies. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Ariko Mabu. Thank you for sharing the website. I'm gonna hop on it.
Cool.
Awesome. Okay, Ariko Mabu, home. Gracias. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to the guests who joined us to witness the language projects. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. I'm gonna ask the presenters if you want to stay for us to just do a quick checkout. You can do that, but if you have to go, I totally understand. I know Kyla had to leave for her rehearsal. But everyone else, thank you so much for being here, and we hope you have a wonderful night. So usa kasakuda, usa butawa,